Welcome back to Gray Bush Knits. My name is Hannah, and this is a podcast all about my love of knitting, but will sometimes include some of my other hobbies like gardening or baking sourdough. If that sounds like something you might be interested in, please stick around, and I would love to have you join our little community here on YouTube. Today's video is all going to be my podcast style as far as what I've been working on. There won't be any acquisitions in this video because I covered a lot of that in my Wednesday video that I posted a couple days ago. It was my birthday earlier this week, so I used that opportunity to compile everything that I've been purchasing for the last couple of weeks. And so there won't be anything in this video, but I hope to have you stick around and see what I've been up to. Okay, so this video, I'm really excited to kind of go over some of my projects, and I figure first of all, I'll just kind of cover what I'm wearing. This is a store-bought knit sweater from Target, I believe. I got it a year or two ago, so nothing special here, but just something comfortable. It's cold and rainy outside, so I'm enjoying being home and comfortable. So I then wanted to tell you about my finished objects for the week. So I did finish my Sunday socks. These were a knit for my mother-in-law. I'll see if I can insert a little bit of footage here, but I did cover them in my acquisitions video from earlier this week. I've since sent them out to her. Her birthday is coming up, so they were a gift for her. I'm really happy with how that project turned out, and I know that the yarn made all the difference, so that I used the Sandnes Garn Perfect, which is recommended for that pattern. And I do have some more of that yarn in a different colorway so that I can make myself a pair, which I plan on doing very soon. I'm really excited to make those, especially after seeing some other YouTubers sharing their finished Sunday socks. I want a pair for myself that is made out of that yarn. So that's going to be coming soon. I don't know when because I have so many things going on right now, but I've locked the cats out of the room for today because they're crazy, running all over the place, and you may end up hearing Pippin. She's trying to pull on the door to open it the wrong way. But then other than that, that's all I finished this week. Sort of, but we'll get into that in a minute. The works in progress that I have going on. So 2 of these I was working on for the last week and a half now. The first one is my Lulu Slipover. This is a pattern by Petite Knit, and I've made a lot of progress this week. So this is knit on the back side. You start right here and you work down, and then you finish off the back side, and then you pick up for the shoulders, and I'm assuming you're going to join. I've been kind of reading it bit by bit rather than reading ahead, which I know you're supposed to do, but I'm a rule breaker. So I'll just show you where I was last week, and I apologize. I think I've got yarn everywhere. But so last week I had made it to this marker here, and this week I have, oops, I don't know why there we go. It looks like a smudge. There's not a smudge. It's just because I've had it wrinkled up. So, but I've completely finished. I've done my ribbing. I did a Italian bind off, and I did screw up in a couple places, but I chose to just leave them alone because they're in the back. I didn't realize it until I was finished, and I went to kind of clean up all my edges, and I realized I had done that. Oh well. This is my second time doing an Italian bind off, and it's not a good rhythm yet. By the time I hit that point though, I figured out what I needed to do where, and it made it easier. But then the other part to show you is this. So this is my left shoulder, and then I've started the right shoulder. And yeah, I'm really excited. I know in previous videos I've talked about how skeptical I was of this pattern, how it's written, all of that. I have discovered that that's a common thing for these slipovers, or vests even, that they are knit in this manner. And sorry, I'm getting kind of cold. So it's very common. It has been a lot more enjoyable the further on that I'm getting. I'm seeing the whole garment come together, and I am really excited to have this. So I was getting pretty far, but my mom, she was working on that Italian bind off and was really nervous about picking up the shoulder. So I was trying to not do the second shoulder until she was caught up with me. And that way, if I needed to put her on video call and show her, that I could. But she's now through that section, and I think we're smooth sailing from here. So I'm really excited. I'm hoping that I can get this finished up by our next video. That should be pretty feasible for me because I tend to work on this a fair amount on the weekends. And yeah, so that one I'm really excited about. But that's my Lulu Slipover from Petite Knit. And then my, I've talked about it before, but I am keeping my projects in these stacking totes, bins from Walmart. And they make all of my projects, they keep everything together, and it's been very handy and convenient. The next item that I've been working on is my Korshavn Cardigan. And this is a pattern by Tonya Hodney. And this is one I talked about last week. I was debating on a couple different options as far as whether to continue or to frog it and start something else, or frog it and just start over. But I got quite a few messages and was talking to quite a few people about it. And what I decided to do was, first of all, block what I had and see how it looked. And I will say I did not do a traditional block. What I did was I soaked it for probably 25 minutes, and then I just laid it flat to dry on some towels and then in front of a heater with those towels. So I did not do your traditional like pin and stretch and all of that, because one of my concerns is the size of the holes that are in the basket weave pattern. And so this kind of was going to give me an idea of how I felt about it. So I have not worked on this at all. I do want to say that. This is in the exact same position that I was a week ago, because I was still really debating what I wanted to do. I'm just going to still leave it folded. I kind of talked about this before. It just kind of stays better. But here is how much I've gotten done. So the ribbing, the edge of the line of the ribbing before seemed to be warped and kind of wavy. It has calmed down significantly. It's smooth, it's straight, it looks really good. So that concern is no longer. Then here you can see the basket weave pattern, and I don't think you can really, yeah, you can't really tell because I've got this folded up. But if I put my hand behind, you can really see those holes and just what that looks like. I'm still kind of holding off on this sweater. All week I've been debating on if this is something that I'm actually going to want to pull out of my closet and wear. And the biggest reason for that is when you have animals, no matter what you're wearing, you're picking up your cats, you're cuddling with your cats, or your dog decides, hey, I'm so happy to see you, and they jump up on you. I always keep that in the back of my mind. I don't want to have a hand knit garment that my dog jumps up on me, gets his nail in one of those holes, and next thing you know, he just pulls the whole thing down and, for a lack of a better explanation of it, ruins it for me. So I'm really just kind of stuck right now. I don't know if I want to continue with this pattern still. 1 minute I think, yes, I'm going to keep going. The next minute I'm like, yeah, but those holes, are you sure you're going to be okay with those holes? And I will say, I keep telling myself, they're not it's not like the holes poke out of the fabric. They are inset in the fabric, and I don't know, I can't really figure out a better way to explain that other than, you know, if I try to like act like, oh, I'm gonna jump on you and grab, like, I don't know if you'd really, oh, there I did. But I don't know if it's really, yeah, see, now I'm doing it a lot. But I don't know how much of a problem it's really gonna be. So I'm doing the debate. I generally don't get dressed up. So I do want to kind of say that. I don't have any kind of dressy cardigans, but I could see wearing this on anything. And so I'm still stuck, you guys. I keep contemplating on just making a different pattern. I did find another cardigan with a beautiful texture on it that I really like. So I thought about just doing that pattern instead. I don't want to give up on this though. That's what breaks my heart, is because I do really like the pattern. I really love the texture. Like when you see the sweater on somebody, I think it's beautiful. Like, AKA Nora Knits, she just finished her version and it is stunning and I love it. And I'm so happy that she's finished it after it getting pushed to the back. And I don't want that to be the case for myself as well. So I pushed to the back of her list of other projects is what I meant to say. So I'm just trying to make sure this is what I want before I put so much time in it. I think, now that I sit here and talk about it, I think I'm just going to keep going. I think it's going to be fine. And you know what? It's going to be fine. I'm just going to work on this. I'm just going to work on this. I'm going to keep going. I've got plenty of yarn in the world to be able to make those other cardigans. So you know what? Why not? Yeah, okay, there we go. We made a decision. So hopefully next week I will have some progress for you and have more than, it's 3 rows right now of basket weave that I've completed. So we'll see. And then I'll put one of my newer stitch markers on there. Oh, blast! I forgot those again, didn't I? One day you'll see them. One day you'll see them, and I'm sorry that I keep forgetting. You know what? I will take a picture and I will insert them here. So I have a few that are beads with the beetles at the bottom, and then I have a few that are just beads. I just kind of did a variety. I have a couple with lobster clasps, and then a couple that have, I don't know what the term is for the other ones, but they're more like an earring with the back that's on a hinge, and so you can grab onto the yarn without having it catch as easily. So I find it kind of convenient with certain yarn that I'm working on. But either way, one of those will end up on my Korshavn cardigan before I keep working on it, and that way you can kind of see my progress by our video next week. The next thing that I am working on, I started yesterday morning, and by the end of the day I had completed one. If you saw my video on Wednesday, you'll know I got a ton of yarn. One of the yarns that I got was this beautiful mushroom toned chunky yarn from Malabrigo. Yeah, it just doesn't sound right. But I kept envisioning a Hobbii elf-like item, and that's led me to just go. So here is what I finished. Try to get my arm out of here so you can see it. It's one Woodland Loafer. It has not been blocked yet. It doesn't look particular pretty this way. There we go. But one loafer. I did do the loop at the back different than how it was instructed, but that was just personal preference. You can see here. I did it more of like a side-to-side loop where the pattern called for the loop to be front to back, but I just did it so that I could have like a nice clean edge here on the inside too. I wanted to make sure that was super strong because I have a feeling I'm going to be hanging these or something along those lines. So I'm hoping, like I said, I haven't blocked these yet. I'm waiting till I finish the second. And then once I've blocked them and I kind of see how they fit on my feet, I mean, not that it's difficult to just put them on, but once I see how they fit on my feet, I'm going to determine how I want to embroider on them. So I will classify these as a finished object once I'm through the knitting process, and then I'll just kind of keep you posted because I don't know how soon I'm going to embroider them, or if I'm going to want to kind of toy with some different ideas before I just jump in. Because this is definitely, you can see, so here is the rise for your foot, and it fits around my foot really, really well. Sorry. But it's just not as high as what I thought it was when I looked at the pictures. So I want to make sure that whatever it is that I embroider on there, I don't have as much room for as what I initially thought. So that's all I'm trying to say. But as far as the second slipper, I started them this morning. Yesterday I started like an hour earlier than what I did this morning. And then I also worked on them at lunch. So I won't get this one done today, but I didn't have that much time. Here's how far I am so far just on the sole, and just to kind of hold them up next to each other. I've got just a couple more rows before I start to decrease for the arch of the foot, so not too bad. I did make a goof on here. I've been doing so much like knit purl on everything that I had accidentally done that on on one stitch. I don't know if you can even see it. Yeah, right there. Oh well. I was going to try to put that on the inside so that you wouldn't even see it and it wouldn't even faze me, but it didn't happen. We'll just say that. It didn't happen. But this is knitting up really, really well. I've only used, like on the first skein, this is how much I still have left, and then my second skein. So I definitely think I'm going to get a fair way before I have to get into the second one. I also was able to, let me see. So I bought the yarn before I had purchased the pattern. So I wasn't completely sure which size I was going to have to make. And I think I bought yarn for the size that I thought I was. Sorry. It's been a long day. I think I bought yarn for the size that I thought I was, but she recommends that you actually go down. So I actually measured my foot in centimeters so that way I could confirm which size I should be, because shoe sizes vary so much. And so I went that route, and she says, if you're between sizes, go down. Don't go up, because then it's not going to fit you. It's going to be way too big. So I did go down, and so I think I'm going to end up having a lot more yarn left over than what I initially planned, but that's fine with me. I'm sure I'm going to make another pair. Yeah, I'm really excited. So these are, I don't know if I said, my Woodland Loafers, and these are a pattern. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot. Yes, there we go. So my Woodland Loafers are a pattern by Claire Slade, and I highly recommend this pattern. It's super easy. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've done differently so far. I did do, so I did do the loop differently. And then I think I accidentally had picked up a couple too many stitches on the side. So that could be a problem with if I picked up a row and then wasn't paying attention and didn't mark it, because I don't have like a clicker, like row marker. I've just been, making a check in my, on my tablet. And so that could have been part of the problem too, if this is actually like one row longer than it was supposed to be or something. Yeah, so I picked up those extra stitches and I just did decreases where they suggested that you put the decreases to get rid of those extra stitches pretty early on so that it wouldn't affect anything, further on into the slipper. But overall, I'm really happy with it. It's just so simple. It really is. And so it just made it really enjoyable. Yeah, you've got to constantly check the pattern because things are changing, but it makes it super fast because you've only got, I think the longest repeat is when you're doing this part of the heel. My dogs are out there wrestling. I'm so sorry if you can hear their noise, but the longest part is this section right here where you're actually having to do 30 rows that are the same thing, but obviously that's still a pretty simple task to do. So that's definitely a good pattern, one that I would recommend, and the yarn is definitely one that I would recommend. I've really enjoyed working with it. I can't remember where's my slip? There it is. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, 100% wool. And 104 yards for 100 grams. So it's working up really well. I really enjoy it. Every time I do anything with Malabrigo yarn, I'm always really, really happy with the finished product. So definitely something I would recommend. So next would be my acquisitions, but like I said, I don't have any this week. I've been trying to hold off, so I was able to refrain. So this week there was the tonal drop from Explorer Knits, and I was so excited. I had quite a few things in my cart, and like right off the get-go, as soon as their shop opened up, and I debated it, and I'm like, no, because I don't actually have projects that I know I want to make with these, so I'd just be buying yarn to buy yarn. Like, no, I'm just gonna wait. And then a while later I thought about it again, so I went on there and I was looking, and I had already changed my mind as far as what I wanted. And then still I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. And then, like, I don't even know what time it was. I'd gone onto Instagram, and she had posted something that said, 15 to 30 minute warning. And by the time I saw that, it was already 45 minutes after she had posted that message. So I was like, oh, yep, they're done. So I didn't end up purchasing anything, which was fine with me. It's beautiful yarn. They did an excellent job with the collection, and I'm sure at some point I will be able to purchase something, but not this time. That's okay. The other thing that I have been contemplating on is there's going to be a drop from Long Dog Yarn. She has a whole collection of yarns coming out based on Princess Bride, and a lot of the tones in that match really well with a yarn that I purchased, and it was in my acquisitions video on Wednesday, but it's, hold on, I'll grab it really fast. This one here, it's from Spin Cycle, and I'll just zoom in because really that's the most important part. But a lot of the yarn tones that she's coming out with are going to match really well with this. And what I had in mind for this was to make the Esther Tea by Camilla Vad. And so I'm contemplating on purchasing yarn from her that looks like it will match this, or if I want to maybe purchase some from her, maybe dye some myself, because I do enjoy doing that. I haven't done it in quite a while, so that would be kind of fun. But I just haven't quite made up my mind. I'm sure that I'm going to purchase yarn from her either way, because there are so many beautiful tones right now. And I'm really curious about one particular base that she's going to be dyeing, and really curious how it works up and things like that. So I may purchase something along those lines, just out of orneriness. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that collection when it comes out in full. and I might be purchasing something, but we'll see. The only thing, I guess if you want to count it on my acquisitions, I did purchase the Woodland Loafers pattern, and I did purchase the second, the cardigan that I was telling you about that I may replace, but now I've decided I won't. And that was the Pippin cardigan, and that is a pattern, is it the Knit Pearl Girl? I believe. She's got the Aostic cardigan and that whole line, which I absolutely love. I just have the pattern right in front of me, but her page doesn't even say what the... I think so. I'm pretty positive. If not, I'll put whatever it's supposed to be down here. But I believe that's the Pippin cardigan by the Knit Pearl Girl. And I really love the patterns that I've done of her so far. I thought this pattern was beautiful. I thought it was also really sweet that she named this after her cat, whose name is Pippin. And I have a cat named Pippin. So I thought that would be kind of fun. But other than the two of those things, I haven't purchased anything this last week. And then I have purchased some things related to the garden, as far as getting some seeds so that I can start planning out for farmers market season. We did just get a notice this past week that is kind of letting us know what the schedule is going to be. We also, on February 10th, so next Saturday, we have an indoor market. So I will be hopefully getting a video posted, like filmed and posted while I'm at that market. However, if something happens that, you know, I'm way too busy baking, then it may not be posted until Sunday, but I'm going to shoot and try to get there on Saturday. So you can watch for that video. I've been working on stuff out in the garden. My problem right now, I don't have like an individual mic that I can just put on me, and there's so much wind. I think I've mentioned it before, but our area gets 30 to 40 mile an hour winds pretty consistently. It's blowing enough right now that the flags that I see out my bedroom window, or out this bedroom window, are completely horizontal. You know, the wind's blowing so hard. And when you're outside, you get that noise, plus you can hear the freeway and things like that. So it's just very loud. So I have filmed a couple videos while I've been out there working on different things over the last month, but they're just not great quality, so that's why I haven't shared any of them. What I've done so far is I'm going through cleaning up my raised beds. A lot of times in the end of the season, I will cut everything down, just take some loppers for all my tomato plants and just cut them right at the ground level. And I just drop, so it's the chop and drop method. And I just leave them be for as long as it takes for me to get to them again. So sometimes it's around now when I'm getting a chance to get out there and kind of get the beds cleaned up, work in any kind of fertilizers, things like that, compost, I should say, things along those lines. Sometimes it's not until, you know, the end of February, maybe even into April before I'm able to get out there. But it just kind of takes the pressure off of me at the end of the season. And it's also good for the garden. It doesn't hurt anything as long as there's no pests living in any of that, which, you know, like squash bugs, things like that. That stuff comes out as soon as I notice it. But right now, the garden, I have 2 full boxes planted with garlic, which I use in my sourdough. And then I had enough that I was able to put a couple rows in a 3rd box. I am already also planning which early season crops I want to do, how many tomato plants I'm going to do, where I'm going to put those, things along those lines. Kind of trying to get things ready. When the farmers markets start, I generally will take, well, just to kind of give you an idea, I have a Toyota 4Runner. I put the back seats down and the entire 4Runner is filled to the gills. My husband actually, we bought an old pickup truck so that I can start using that to take to the farmers markets, because I think I'll be able to fit more in there that way and, you know, more or less just keep it loaded and not have to unload all the time, which would be a lot more convenient, because that's what I'm doing right now, because my 4Runner is my daily driver. But yeah, I take a lot of produce and sourdough when I do the markets, and it's so much fun to do, and it's really nice to be able to offer some of those early season crops. So that's why I'm getting things going like beets, which some of them I've even had in the ground since last summer when I planted them. I pick out what I want throughout the fall and the winter, and they stay perfectly fine out there in the meantime, and they'll continue to grow as well. I do have onions out there that are doing that as well, and some Swiss chard that has been able to stay in the ground. I decided to try it. It's not really hurting anything. It's just kind of a test. You're never gonna know if you don't try. So I have some of that out there as well. I do have leaves that have gotten frost bit and then they turn limp and, you know, they don't look appealing. They're not going to be something I eat, but they're great to throw in the compost. So I just kind of accumulate all of that stuff and just left it be. But I do plan on putting more beets into the ground. I love beet greens, so that's one of the reasons why I grow that. I'm going to be planting some carrots so that I can hopefully get that going early, and then also some spinach so that as soon as that spinach can come up, it's going to. Those are all things that are going to be pretty good. The first market's going to be the end of April, so some of those things I won't be planting probably until at least another month, but it's still nice to kind of start planning that and kind of mulling over some of those ideas that I have. I always have my tomato plants in the same spot every year rather than rotational crop, but this year I'm going to be mixing it up just to see what happens, because like I said, you're never going to know if you don't try. So we are going to be having to add in some different structural support type of items out there, so I'm going to be working on that. And so you may end up seeing some videos where it's kind of me working and maybe I'll do some music over it or a voiceover or something along those lines. Maybe I'll just, you know, type up at the bottom what I'm working on. So if you'd like to see some of that, please let me know, see whether or not you'd even be interested in seeing some of those projects. We live in town. We don't have a huge property. We dream of having one day, and every house that we've been in has been more room than the previous. This is our first home that we've bought, so we definitely are very happy with what we've been able to accomplish at this property, considering what it was when we moved in. But anyway, I kind of took the long-winded route through that, but all trying to say that I had bought seeds. We also will put up a pool in our backyard in the summertime, because after I do the markets on Saturday mornings, it's so hot. We come home, we unload everything, eat lunch, and then we usually will go out and hang out in the pool for a good hour or so just to try to cool off. Ironically, this year we're not going to be doing markets in the summertime in the morning. We're going to be doing them at night. So I may not use that as much this year, but either way, we have just dirt and nothing really grows very well in our area. So you definitely have to do a lot to the ground, and that's been one of those areas that I have not focused extremely on. But we decided to get kind of a grass rug, or a fake grass rug, and I bought that this last weekend, put it out there, and it looks so nice having something down on the ground rather than the dirt. That I'm trying to decide if I want to go ahead and fight with trying to get grass to grow, or if I just want to do fake grass in the whole backyard and call it good enough, because we've debated that even for our front yard. But I don't know. We'll see. That green grass is really enticing out there though. So other than that, as far as my plans, I'm going to be working, like I said, out there in the garden. I don't know how much I'm going to be doing on that in the near future, just because we've had these like wind and kind of sprinkling and cloudy days, but then just a couple days ago it was like 70 degrees. It was beautiful. I was out there cleaning out a whole section, and my husband comes out and is like, "When are you coming inside? It's dinner time." So we'll see. I'm going to be working on that when I can though. And then obviously I'm going to be finishing these Woodland Loafers before too long. I'm sure that I'm going to be finishing them by tomorrow. I'm hoping that I can finish that Lulu Slipover by the time we are back here next week. If not, maybe be doing the finishing touches on it. And then my Korshavn Cardigan, hopefully I can be getting a significant way into the basket weave. It's definitely a pattern right now that I have to constantly look. I should say constantly. You do the 5 rows that you know, but then when it comes to the rows that incorporate the holes, then I definitely have to look at the pattern. It's not as easy for me to memorize right now, but I've only done it twice, so that would be why. But hopefully I can make some progress on that and share that with you as well next week. If you have any other ideas for me as far as which pattern I should do next, I have that 15 knits of 2024 video that I shared a couple weeks ago and have some different ideas, but I don't have anything really set for being my next project. I'm trying to keep 2 large garments and then 1 accessory going. And that way I have something that's hopefully coming off the needles every week to some extent. So if you have any suggestions or ideas or something that you'd really like to see from that list, I will include all of the information down in the description as far as where you can see my kind of queue list and the projects that I'm interested in working on this year. And yeah, I would love to hear what you think I should work on next. Also, if there's anything that you're working on that you're really excited about, I would love to hear that, because maybe there's a pattern that you have been working on or you're interested in that I haven't heard of. You know how the algorithms are? Sometimes you just don't hear about something, and I want to make sure that I'm not always talking about these large designers. I'm really interested in supporting everybody. So I want to be able to incorporate different designers that are providing patterns for all of us, because they do a lot of work and I can't appreciate it enough. So yeah, I would just love to sit and visit with you more about that down in the comments. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and that lets YouTube know that I'm putting videos out there that people do enjoy. And if you did like it, maybe consider subscribing. I do post videos every Wednesday and Saturday. Saturdays are my podcast videos. Wednesdays are generally other knitting related content, but that's where, if I have a video for my sourdough or for the garden, that's where that one's gonna be. This one I'll just kind of tuck that information in like I did about what my planning was. So that way you know this video is always gonna be my knitting progress. So but if you enjoyed that, or if you would like to see any of those future videos, please subscribe. By hitting that bell, you'll receive notifications every time I post a new video. But anyway, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye!